Oh boy, we're talking breastfeeding today, and there is a lot to unpack, including an item that you absolutely need, tips that I wish I knew beforehand, and some pumping essentials that you guys are gonna need if you decide to do breastfeeding and pumping. So grab a cup of coffee and let's chat. Hey mamas, what's good? I'm Chrystal. Welcome to my channel and another episode of Let's Chat Over Coffee, my little mini series of having coffee dates with you, mama, because we need a break and we get to talk about life and motherhood. Now, the last 2 weeks, I have been talking about those first few big moments into motherhood, my birth experience, my postpartum recovery. Of course, we have to talk about breastfeeding. I also will be mentioning some pumping things because I also did that as well throughout the whole video. So stick around, like, subscribe, comment down below any tips or tricks that you have, and let's get to chatting. Obviously, I started breastfeeding at the hospital, and while I was there, I was able to take advantage of the lactation consultants. They made sure that I was able to get a proper latch. They also gave me different ideas for different positions. It's really, really great to use the resources that you have at the hospital before you leave. Those lactation consultants really did help me kind of like figure it out, because like it was kind of okay, but it would like hurt a lot when I first attached him. And they came in and were like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how to properly get him on there, and this is what you need to look for. Within that first week, understand that you were literally a feeding machine. My son was kind of like on and off the boob every hour, hour and a half. Just as an FYI, breastfed babies need to be fed more frequently than formula-fed babies because it's just easier for them to digest. Where formula-fed babies still get great, amazing nutrients and everything. It just takes a little while for their body to break down all of those nutrients and amazing goodies. They say breast is best, but we're gonna kick breast out of here and we're gonna say fed is best, okay? Drink a lot of water and eat a lot of food. Make sure you're eating, drink a lot of water. That's really gonna help out your milk supply. A lot of people also recommend drinking water as you are breastfeeding because sometimes it'll help with that letdown, because sometimes the letdown takes longer than you would anticipate. I did have a little bit of nipple sensitivity. I did not get dryness in the nipples as much as a lot of women talk about, like cracking and bleeding and stuff like that. Someone told my mom that a good practice is that once they're done eating, just take a little bit of the breast milk and then rub it all over the nipple. This helped with hydration, this helped with healing because it is liquid gold. There's like all kinds of goody nutrients in there, and it helped my nipples stay really good. I also rubbed it on my scar a little bit too. Oh, by the way, friends, very important information. I still got my period while breastfeeding. I was under the impression that when you are breastfeeding, you don't get your period. I got my period, definitely got my period. My son preferred one side. He did not like to switch between breasts, which is recommended. If you can do that, do it, it's awesome. If not, if you cannot do that, there's a gadget you need. This is called the haka. So what you do is you pull this back like this, and then you stick it onto the breast. While my son was feeding on the one breast, you could stick this onto the other breast, so then when the letdown happens, then both breasts, you could be producing milk, and then you can either refrigerate or freeze this however you want. We're gonna talk about storing in just a little bit, so hold on. Nighttime feed. So early on, my son would wake himself up to feed, but if you can master the dream feed, that's a game changer because they don't have to be woken up, or they don't wake up and have to be calmed down. I recommend is setting an alarm clock to wake yourself up to go get them, and then try to do the dream feed where you just like pick them up, stick them on the boob, and they just get to drinking, and then they go right back to sleep, and then it's like nothing ever happened and you go back to bed. But it's hard to master, so if any of you guys have tips, comment below. If your kids are sleeping through the night, you still need to make sure that you are pumping in the middle of the night. Use the haka or whatever just to get that relief, because also it's a really good idea to get breast pads. I use the Lancinone brand. They have a sticky side and they can be put into the bra. Usable ones, like ones that you throw into the washer or whatever. I just don't know if they would work very well because there's no adhesive on the back for it to prevent the slipping around in the bra. You know, if you guys have tried it and stuff, because it is something that I am interested in trying next time around if I am so lucky. Now, I did start pumping and I want to show you the pump that I have. This Lancinone pump, it's the Lancinone Smart Pump. As you can see, it's quite small. It's very lightweight as well. It made it super easy and convenient, taking it to and fro, either pumping in the car, pumping at work, pumping on a plane. The only thing that I wish I knew about this is that this has, hold on. So it comes with these little duck valves. I think a lot of pumps have this. So these little duck valves right here, you need to replace these pretty frequently. Let's check your manuals and make sure that you are changing these as frequently as it says in the manual. You are looking for a breast pump and you have not called your insurance provider to see if they offer you one for free. Mine, it was free. I just called them up. They said, hey, go check out these websites where they sell medical supplies. You go to the website, you plug in the right information that you're supposed to do in there, like your insurance card information, all of that stuff. And they will show you the options that are available within your plan. Check with them, see what's available, see what you need to do to get your pump for free. Your insurance company should give it to you for free. So call them. What's up? So let's quickly go over storing milk. Milk can only be out for so long, it freezed for so long, in the fridge for so long. So let's go over that real quick because I think it's just important. So milk can be kept at room temperature for about 4 hours after pumping or using the Haka. Any milk that's in the refrigerator is good for up to 4 days. And if you're gonna freeze your milk, 6 months is optimal. But if you use, let's say like a deep freezer or something, you can store your milk for up to a year. One thing that I did use, now, because I do have Lancinone, Lancinone makes its own bags. So these are the Lancinone bags that I used. What's really great is you can label up at the top, the date, the time, the volume, you can fill it up to here. And then when you are done, you lay it flat like this and you stick it in the freezer. What's really great about these too, with the pump that I have, I don't know if this will work on other pumps. Let's say you're out and you don't want to use this, or you're strictly going to put this in the freezer. You can just take the top part of the pump, you stick it on just like that, and then you would just pump right into the bag. I didn't do that personally because the measurements are a little bit off on the bag. I normally just pumped into the cup and then use the measurements on the side here to determine how much how many ounces were actually gonna be going into the bag. Also too, if you are just putting fresh milk into the fridge and you're just using the same bottle all day and you're putting the milk in, make sure your breast milk cools down before you mix it in with the cold stuff. It will get bad. So just some things. Breastfeeding is different for everyone. And for me, I didn't really make it past 3 months because my son did not prefer the breast anymore. He wanted that bottle. It was so much easier. He didn't have to work to get the letdown to happen. None of that. He didn't have to be in the right position. He also too was like super uncomfortable with different types of positions, would hit me, punch me, all that stuff. It was very upsetting for me, obviously, as it would be, to go into this thinking like, oh, I'm going to exclusively breastfeed, ending up having to pump because he didn't want to do it. And I only pumped for an additional 3 months after that. So I only fed him breast milk for 6 months and only breastfed for 3 because I went back to work, and of course he's gonna want the bottle more because I'm not around. If I was able to be home more for a good amount of time, like for 6 months or a year, maybe I would have been able to breastfeed him longer. But because he had to get the bottle so soon, because obviously I wasn't around to give him the milk from the breast, it really did affect how long he did want to be on the breast and how long I actually breastfed. Things need to change, I think, in that aspect, giving new mamas and new daddies some more time off. My husband got like 4 months off. 4 months? 4 months for my husband and I got 3. I stopped pumping around 6 months because of the fact that I was missing out on so much. I was glued to the wall. It was literally another job. I was spending like a part-time job amount of hours pumping. It was very stressful. I was worried about making sure he got the right amount of milk, that I was producing enough so that I could have storage, that I was doing the right things and practicing all these really cool techniques like power pumping, where you pump for an hour on and off to help increase your milk supply. It's kind of like mimicking cluster feeding. I know I threw a lot at you today. There's a lot that we talked about. I just hope it gives you just a little bit more of information as to what you might expect, or things that maybe you didn't even think that you needed. But I do have resources down below for you in the description box, so go run on down there and check it out. I need to get clocking in for mom duty because I record these coffee sessions before my son wakes up, because I just need this time with you ladies to talk about motherhood and life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see more of them. Until I see you next week, mama, you've got this. Cheers. This is some good coffee today. I'm feeling great. Okay, that was a tad much, Chrystal. You need to calm down just a little bit.